All right, I think we are recording. Just one more. So I don't want to take too much of your time tonight because you probably would like to take advantage of the daylight and the non-rain, at least here in Hartford, that we have left of the evening. So my name is Chris Nestle. I work with a 4-H program here at Cornell Cooperative Extension, and I love to go hiking. I love to bring my grandson hiking now that he's old enough to do that. And it just really gives me great pleasure. And I also enjoy going to places where I've not been before. And it's been a lot of fun. So I want to share that. Plus, I was fortunate enough, our Cornell Cooperative Extension was fortunate enough to get some funding to support this program. We did this family hiking challenge a couple of years ago, and we had a handful of folks sign up. But this time I was able to receive funding through the Washington County Youth Bureau. It's the youth sports recreation funding that is available to the youth bureaus across New York State. So I was very excited to apply and was able to take more of you signed up. So I've got a little agenda. Let me close that down. And why don't I just share it here? And let's just get that. Okay. So, so the purpose of this, what I put in my funding application anyways, was to get outside. Hiking, walking in general can be a great stress reliever. And I really think it's important to do it as a family, build new memories, see things together, spend time together. Hiking can be fairly inexpensive. And then at the opposite end of the spectrum, it certainly can be really expensive, but we're going to go on the cheaper side. So there are 9 hikes that we have mapped out for you to take advantage of. And I did say in my advertising that all 9 were in Washington County. Not 100% true. I wanted to include a fire tower. So Hadley Mountain in Warren County is one of the hikes. And then the other hike is Tim's Trail, and that actually is in Fairhaven, but overlooks Washington County. It was highly recommended. So it's a little rigorous, but anyway, so there's a couple that are actually outside of the county. We'll review those trails in a bit. So our goal is to have your family do 6 hikes between, well, technically you could start tomorrow, but it runs through Columbus Day weekend. And then you need to hand in your journal and you get it back, but proof that you've gone on the hike, the different hikes and that kind of thing. So there's that. So you have plenty of time. I want it to be as flexible as possible. I don't want it to cause your family any more stress. I want it to be stress-free, and I want it to be a source of relieving stress. So we do have 5 of those hikes will be guided. We encourage you to sign up for those, but if you can't make it or the weather's bad, it has to be rescheduled. Again, we will be flexible about that. All right, so what I'm going to do, I keep on talking about this journal, and actually, I want to make sure I get the right document here. Put a little bit this way. So this journal, in the what it has rules in the front, and then it has tips on hiking, and then gotta slide it over here. And then for each trail that we have in this journal, there's a little write-up about it. There's a map. It gives you the length, the gain in elevation, and the type of trail that it is, and it gives you the address so that you can find it. Some of them may not be as obvious as others. So this is the way this is set up. So the first part is just general information, and then there is a page, couple pages for each trail. So let's go back to the guidelines here. So we want you to participate in 4 guided hikes. Again, if you are unable to make any of the 4 out of the 5, you know, that's fine. We'll work. It's more important that you achieve that you go hiking with your family. And if you can't make the guided hike, as long as we work it out so that you can document a total of 6 hikes, that will work. You will receive a kit or a bag of 4-H swag to start off with. We have a cinch backpack, cinch style backpack. We have water bottles, we have sunscreen, and we have some lip balm. And each family will receive this journal. You can have additional copies if you have a youth that would prefer to keep their own. And then at the end, if you complete your a total of 6 hikes, then you'll receive additional hiking gear. So we do have, of course we have 2 acknowledgement of risk forms, one for adults and one for youth. For those of you here that are participating that are already enrolled 4-Hers, your youth are, or you are an enrolled volunteer with us through our 4-H program, you do not have to fill out additional acknowledgement of risk. We already have that for you on file. But the rest of you, we do have an acknowledgement of risk form. One form for youth, it works, just write all their names down, and then we have for one for the adult as well. Before you, and I will email those to those families that need to have those completed. So in terms of hiking, do a little bit of research. This journal that I'm going to review in a bit, the easier hikes are at the beginning, and so that you can thumb through it and decide what additional hikes you would like to do. Do a little research, what's close by, what's the weather going to be like, what is your ability, the abilities of your family. Are you ready to do a drastic change in elevation? And by the way, we don't have any high peaks in Washington County, and so don't fret about that. But you know, make sure that as you start out, that these hikes match the ability of your family members. We'll check the weather before you hike, of course. If you had planned to hike this afternoon, I would hope that you would have checked the weather, watched where these storms are coming through, and had the appropriate gear if you were thinking that you were able to be out in the some of those storms that went through were pretty intense. We have a leave no trace policy. So excuse me here. So that's also, that policy is in the beginning of the journal. And then if you wanted more information on hiking, by the way, I think I wanted to make sure, I think I might have skipped that. The resource that I used for this hiking guide was All Trails. It's available in an app. It's also a website, and that was recommended to me. Excuse me for a second. And then the other resource that is fun to do as a family is to go to the U.S. Geological Survey website, and you can actually look at and download topo maps or topographical maps. So I've used those with other 4-H programs, and both of those links are here in this manual that journal that I'm covering. And then lastly, please do not hesitate to give me suggestions, give us suggestions, ask questions, offer comments as we go throughout the summer and into the fall. I love to hike, but I would not consider myself an expert hiker. So anyways, I am always open to listen to suggestions and also help you with any questions that you might have. All right. Go back here. Stop sharing. Just want to make sure. By the way, if you have any questions, just unmute yourself and jump right in. Okay, or you can type it in the chat. All right. Let me get the right one. Okay. So in the manual, it talks about things at the beginning. There's a list of things, suggestions that you would want to have available. A backpack that's big enough to carry what you need, but not too big that it's difficult to carry. Bandana, that I use them a lot. And it's not just to wipe your nose, but you can I've used it and gotten it wet and then draped it around my neck to help keep me cool. Clothing, make sure you dress appropriately and pack some extra clothing in case you get wet or chilled. And then doesn't hurt to pack a little rain gear in case you might be encountering unexpected weather. Boots or hiking boots, you don't need to have super expensive hiking boots, but if you do, but you should have footwear that is comfortable and fits for the most part. A little extra room is not bad, but a lot of extra room can create blisters. A little first aid kit, even if it's just a baggie with some Band-Aids and maybe some Neosporin and maybe some wipes would be a good start for a first aid kit to carry. Blisters and scrapes probably are the #1 injury when hiking. If you're going to be, it doesn't hurt to have a flashlight or headlamp. All of our hikes are going to be during the day, but thinking ahead, if that's something that you're going to get a little more serious with the hiking, you can get a decent flashlight, one that's not too heavy, too bulky, and the batteries are not worn down. Food is very important, and there's all kinds of things that people like to take. Some people think that you need to have a beverage that has some electrolytes in it. Certainly that's not necessary for any of the hikes that we are going on. Basic water really is the best refresher, does not cause further dehydration, and inexpensive. And we recommend that as a #1 beverage to carry with you. Any snacks that you have, it's best if they are not super, super sweet, that they have a little bulk to them, not just something that like candy, but rather granola bars. So you have a little bit of protein, you have some complex carbohydrates, some fiber, and those help, those provide more sustained energy sources. Insect repellent. If anybody has been out recently, seems like, or even earlier this spring, the black flies seem to be absolutely miserable. But we do highly recommend some type of insect repellent. Map and compass. I'm not going to spend much time with orienteering, but that certainly is a fun activity to do, even if it's setting up a course in your backyard. Sun protection, a hat, bandana, and then sunscreen, or in some cases, if it's not heavily wooded, you would want to have sunglasses with you. Consider waste disposal and bringing a sealable container or bag for any trash that you might have. I just spoke about water, and then some additional items, maybe some inexpensive binoculars. Duct tape is good for a variety of mishaps that could happen on a trail. Possibly a mirror, maybe a rope or cord to kind of repair things that might fall apart or need repair. And then toilet paper, and then a portable charger if you have one. Circling back to toilet paper, I just bring the almost, when the toilet paper is almost done, take it off, kind of collapse it a little bit and just fold it and have it carried in a plastic bag along with me. So that doesn't have to be anything fancy, or just something simple like that. Excuse me. All right. So Okay. I am going to show you, sorry for all these little things. Let's get to a trail. So these are set up in the journal. So that little bit smaller. These are set up. So the page has the name of the trail, basically where it's located. It has a trail map. It gives you the length, the gain in elevation, and the style that it is. The journal part is just answering these questions. You know, when did you go? How long were you out? And what was the weather like? And just some more prompting type questions to get you. And when I say you, it's not you, the grown-ups necessarily, that should be answering these questions. It's you prompting your youth to answer these questions. You know, what did you see? What was your favorite part of the trail? What was your least favorite part? Did you learn or experience anything new on this trail? And what's one thing that you would do differently if you were to go on this trail again, and why? And then the next page, can I get it here? Here we go. So it's just a blank page where you can write in, you can put some photos there, or maybe the kids would want to sketch something that they saw out on the trail, or something along those lines. It was just, and maybe it's just a space holder for to remind you to take some photos. Okay. And then let me just bebop to the end. The other things that I have at the end, I have a little scavenger hunt that you could do as a family, or have the kids do out on the trail. If you have some maybe that are a little more experienced, you might want to try some of flora identification, such as different types of trees and animals and wildflowers and that kind of thing. And then of course there's just a beginner, just a trail sign, a maple tree, and those kinds of things, just to as another opportunity. So, okay. All right. And then the other thing that I wanted to point out at the very end of this, gonna stop sharing here. The very end, I do have, there's a couple of handouts there that I downloaded. I've used them with our 4-H shooting sports program, and that is from the DEC website. I can show you quickly here. Get that back up. Nope, wrong one. Okay. So here's a couple of resources that I downloaded from the DEC website. So one's for summer hiking, and the other one, get down here, is publisher's a little crazy here. And then there's one for winter, just some good resources. Okay. So we are currently awaiting for the last order to come in for the water bottles. And so we will get these packets put together this week. This week, I will be at Cornell University with 257 of my closest teenage friends from across New York State. So it's 4-H Career Exploration Week. I'll be headed out there, but we will get those kits put together, and then they will be, I will go ahead and send out an email and figure out how best, we can figure out how best to get them to you. We might make a drop-off point or whatever, so that you can get those kits. And in those kits, in addition to the stuff that I spoke about earlier, I will have one copy, a hard copy of the journal that I was just speaking of. Additionally, I will also send that to you as an attached document as a PDF. So if you wanted to print it off or print off additional sheets or however you might want to manage that, that will be an opportunity as well. Okay, then the last thing I just wanted to share is currently I have a group of volunteers that are going to be leading these trips, the guided hikes. And when I say guided, that means they're going to meet you there and they're going to they might, will take you on the trip, on the hike. And it's not that they're official Adirondack guides or anything, but both of these, all three of them have had extensive experience hiking. And so in talking with Miriam is a phys ed teacher in Salem. She and her husband have done extensive hiking in the Rockies and in Canada, and also Glacier National Park and also on the West Coast. And so now that she's back in this area, she's offered to, she and her husband got together. So these are the hikes that they have selected to take you on. So there's Sleeping Beauty, which is in the town of Fort Anne. There's Diandandahawa Falls, which is right in Greenwich, not too far from the fairgrounds. Washington County Fairgrounds, and that is at the end of the day and the end of the work day. And then Carter's Pond, some of you may have already been to that. That's outside of Salem. She picked, that's on a Saturday, and then they picked Tim's Trail, September 30th. She wanted to take a later hike. Hopefully that there would be some nice foliage to look at on the way. And then Ward Sweet, who has done a lot of hiking with his parents since he was probably in a backpack. He is interested in bringing folks to the Hadley Mountain and the fire tower there. So so those are what we have scheduled thus far. We'll get you the date for Hadley. Okay. So I've done a lot of talking. Does anyone have questions? I did see the question about the manual. So that will be emailed to you, and you also receive a hard copy. Is there anything that doesn't make any sense to you, or do you have any suggestions? This is the first time I've ever done this on this scale. Nope. Okay. Well, okay. So I am going to end the meeting shortly. I will I have to say this out loud so that I make sure that I remember what I'm supposed to be doing here. I'm going to make sure that everyone receives an email with a link to the video recording, which will be, I won't have that available until later in the week, but you will have a copy of the acknowledgement of risk form for those of you that don't already have one on file with us. Also, I will send you attach a file with the family hiking, the journal, the challenge guide, and then I will also have in that email listed the dates for the planned hikes. And I think that might be it. So anybody have questions? Feel free to unmute yourself.
Am I talking?
Yes, you're talking and you're unmuted.
I'm unmuted. Just thank you, Chris. This is wonderful. And I haven't done a Zoom meeting since COVID. And it's really fun and very helpful. And I'm really looking forward to it. And thank you. You really covered everything well.
Thanks. Thanks. And I just saw that question pop in. We would love it if you can make the guided hikes, and probably what we will do is send out an email ahead of time who's planning on coming, so we can kind of have an idea of what we're dealing with in terms of numbers. If if you are unable to make one of the guided hikes, I cannot hold that against you. We want this to be flexible and not cause you additional stress. If you are going to go, if you're going to go on a hike, not one of ours, what you need to do is document that. So it might mean, taking a picture of you and your family at the trailhead marker, or or a picture of your name in the where you sign in the trail, if they have that there, some pictures to document, and that kind of thing. So just something that says, hey, Chris, we really did do this.
Right.
So that's what we're looking for. And we feel that it is important just to get out and hike with your family, and the change in elevation and all that kind of thing. Even if it was, I put the Canalway, the Champlain Canalway trails on there. They are super easy. And my husband and I do that a lot. We've done biking on it with my grandson, and then with my daughter and her family, and even just to walk along there and just think about the historic of the historic value of that area, where the old Champlain Canal was, and where the towpath was, where the mules were pulling a tug, and all that kind of stuff is just really interesting. And it's not too stressful on your legs or heart. So we just think it's important for everyone to get outside. So, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to look into this potash here. Someone has suggested that. Thank you, Kathy. All right. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for taking time out of your evening, and we will be in touch.
Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome. Take care.
Mhm.
Okay, I just need to